Hello one, hello all, it's Billy here with another Throwback Thursday. Today I am telling you everything about Donkey Kong. Charlie did a video on Donkey Kong before and he was playing Donkey Kong the arcade version. I think he did a good job, but there was so much more to Donkey Kong and I wanted to tell you more about him. I am playing Donkey Kong on Super Nintendo because it's one of the best Super Nintendo games and Donkey Kong games. There are so many more fun Donkey Kong games and some of them are worth getting. Number 1. Donkey Kong gameplay. Almost all the Donkey Kong games are side-scrolling games. The ones that are not are the handheld ones and the less popular ones. All the popular main ones are side-scrolling, defeat the mobs and get past the obstacles and beat all the levels. Most games were like that back in those days because that's what people like. It's crazy how many levels they put in these games because it takes forever to beat the game. The side-scrolling idea went all the way back to Mario 1. Mario 1 was the first side-scrolling game and that was the best-selling game on the NES. Even today, games are still in this style. Number 2. Donkey Kong appearances. Donkey Kong has been the main character in about 50 games and he was probably in more than 70 games. He's in so many games. His first appearance was in the arcade, Donkey Kong. The arcade machine was a huge success and sold thousands. Everyone loved it. If you don't know what it looks like for some reason, it looks like this. You should already know what it looks like because Charlie has done a video on it before and it's one of the most popular games ever. Well, Donkey Kong really took off when it was on the Super Nintendo. The Donkey Kong Country series was the best ever. The music, the gameplay, the graphics, everything. Speaking of graphics, Nintendo actually wanted the Donkey Kong Country series to be 3D, but the Super Nintendo wasn't strong enough. The games actually had awesome looking backgrounds. They were so close to 3D. There were a lot of Donkey Kong Country games, 1, 2, and 3 on the Super Nintendo. Donkey Kong 64 was actually a part of the series. Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. Donkey Kong Country Returns was actually not going to come out because Rare was bought by Microsoft and they were going to cancel the game, but a company named Retro Studios came along and finished the game. That would be a shame if they didn't finish the game. That game is awesome. There were a lot of Donkey Kong games on handhelds too. There's a lot of them, so I'm just going to list them. The first handheld Donkey Kong game was the Game & Watch game. The ones on the Game Boy were Donkey Kong Original, Donkey Kong Land 1, 2, and 3. Mario vs. Donkey Kong and DK King of Swing were on the Game Boy Advance. There were more handheld Donkey Kong games on the DS and so on. Number 3. Donkey Kong game prices. Most of the Donkey Kong games are cheap. The Donkey Kong Country games range from $20 to about $30. They are definitely worth the $20. I think, and a lot of other people think, that the first one is the best, so I recommend it. It is only about $20 on eBay. Even the one on the Wii is about $15. There's a special Donkey Kong Country card. It is the competition card. They used them back in the 90s. There were only about 2,500 of them made, and they are crazy expensive and rare. Any gamer wish they could own one. The other Donkey Kong games range from $20 to $30. Donkey Kong 64 and the ones that are on the DS are about $20. Number 4. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. In the latest game, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, they added and changed a lot of things. Notice how I said Donkey Kong Country. They are still making these games even today. Anyways, the plot of the game actually revolves around a group of animal Vikings, which is weird. In the game, Donkey Kong and all of his friends spot a group of animal Vikings. The next weird thing is there are more playable characters. That is crazy because every other game you can only play as Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. The new characters are Dixie Kong and Cranky Kong. Each character has a special ability in the game. Diddy Kong has a barrel jetpack he could use to cross long gaps, and Dixie can spin her ponytail in order to slowly ascend through the air. In this game, there are 6 islands, and on each island there are about 6 to 7 levels. Like I said before, it's crazy how big they make these games and how long it takes to beat it. On this site, it takes about 12 hours to beat the main story, which is crazy. Well, that's all for me. Toodaloo. Look forward to next week's Throwback Thursday, and I will be doing the Mario series.